Welcome to another episode on suicide cases. Suicide is a silent epidemic affecting communities worldwide. Law enforcement officers are often the first responders to this crisis, facing unimaginable trauma and emotional toll. On this podcast, we will bring police officials and share experience, insights, and strategies for addressing suicide prevention. Join us as we delve into this critical issue surrounding suicide and law enforcement. Let's work together to create a safer, more compassionate world for all. And in today's episode, we're joined by Mary Chiponda, Deputy Public Relations Officer for Blantyre Police. Stay there as we delve into this thought-provoking conversation. Welcome to the show, Madam Mary Chiponda.
Thank you so much, Ruth.
Can you first introduce yourself to our listeners?
My name is Constable Mary Chiponda. I'm the Deputy Public Relations Officer for Blantyre Police Station.
Can you give us a clear account on the current state of suicide cases in Blantyre?
Blantyre City as a whole, we have decreased in the cases of suicide comparing to the past 2 years. In 2022-2023, we were receiving a lot of cases on suicide, but 2024 we have decreased, and I can assure you that the cases have decreased. A lot of men, because when we are looking at suicide itself, most of the people who are being registered that they have committed suicide, it's men. It's always men. So a lot of men, they are in families. Maybe they even have 2 wives. They even have 3 wives. So each and every woman has 4 children. So sometimes they are like running away from responsibility, because with whatever they are doing in their day-to-day life, each and every work that they're doing, they have to do it for both families if it's 2 wives. So I think most of the men who commit suicide, they run away from their responsibilities. And also we also had this other time when we lost a man in Kabula. The man died due to family issues. They had a land in which their parents lived. So with his and his uncles, his brothers, they came claiming that the land in which the man was living in was theirs. So the man committed suicide with that, because he had no say. He was saying that those people, they were going to get the land in which his father left for him. So a lot of cases which are being reported here at police station, most of them, there are family problems like these ones, that the family, they are quarreling, land conflicts between one party and the other, or even the husbands, they are running away from responsibilities of being a father. That is if they have 2 to 3 wives.
How does mental health play a role in suicide ideas or thoughts?
I would say mental health itself, it plays a very big role in mental health plays a role in suicide cases, in a way that if that person, he's not sorry. Okay, mental health plays a very big role in suicide cases, in a way that if a person is suffering from any disease which is affecting the brain, it can lead to suicide in any way or the other, because each and everywhere where that person is working or wherever that person is going, he cannot even be sure of what he's doing, of what he's doing. So if he's having a family, and when he leaves his home to work, leaving his family, he knows that at home there is nothing, there is no food, my wife needs money, my wife needs this, my kids needs this. So wherever he goes, if he is mentally disturbed, it can affect him in one way or the other, because if he is not feeling okay in his head, anything can happen. Whether it's on the road, he can be hit by a car, or even to run away from all those problems, he can just come up with a solution of taking his life. So yes, I think mental health can play a very big role in suicide cases.
Do you think there are some socio-economic factors contributing to suicide ideation?
Yes, because most of men who usually commit suicide, they work, they work for their houses to survive. So each and every day when they leave their homes, they have hope that I'm gonna get something at the end of the day to feed my family. So if they have not find any food, they can take that opportunity that what am I living for? Let me just take my life. Let me just take my life and run away from the responsibility that it's on my head.
And there are some support systems that are put in place for those struggling with suicide cases or suicidal thoughts.
We have some branches here in Atlanta Police, like community policing. We have victim support unit, because most of the times men, they do not come up as women does, because for a lady, if she's going through something, she can be open, she can come to the police. I'm going through this. Here at victim support unit, these people, they can be helped. But for a man to open up and tell someone and share someone what's going on in his head, most of men, they do not do that. Instead, they end up killing themselves inside, because there are problems which would have been controlled, which would have been prevented by sharing to someone. If they choose to keep it for themselves, they end up killing themselves, they end up taking up their lives.
Are there some initiatives that have been put in place to community leaders or organizations to prevent suicide ideation?
As Atlanta Police, we have the community policing, as I already said. That group helps a lot in our communities, because we go at different communities to civic educate men who do different businesses on issues to do with suicide, because we have a lot of cases which are coming in, men killing themselves, men taking their lives. So we have that responsibility as police. We work with village headmans, we work with traditional authorities in educating men, especially those who do small-scale businesses in local communities, in teaching them on ways how to prevent suicide. If it's a problem, they have to share it with a friend, a neighbor, or a relative. If that's too heavy for them to share with their neighbors or their relatives, they can even come here at police. We do help them. We have our friends at victim support unit. If you have anything that's going on, anything you would like to be that you would want to share it with someone, we have those offices where we welcome them. They will tell us and we will help them to prevent such cases.
Do you have an idea on how stigma around mental health affects suicide cases?
I would say yes, because most of the times, as I already said, men, they're always men. They can't be as women are, because men, they feel Sorry.
How does stigma around mental health affect suicide cases?
Stigma around mental health, it can affect suicide cases in a way that if a person is mentally stable, if he is mentally disturbed, he can do anything. If he can do anything. So one of the ways in which suicide it can be caused, it's because the person is mentally stable. So yes.
How can police services promote open conversations about suicide ideation?
Repeat the question.
How can the police service promote open conversations about mental health in relation to suicide ideation or thoughts?
Okay, as police, we always, as I already said, we always engage the people themselves, because for us police, we can't just work on ourselves, but we collaborate with the chiefs, we collaborate with the village headmans, and we meet up with each and everyone who is willing to come up with what's going on in his life. If they have a problem, if they share it with any person, their problem can be solved.
Do you have any personal story or experience related to suicide?
Yes, we have.
Can you share it with us?
Okay, we had this other case in which a man killed himself because of family issues. As I already said in the first place, the father of the man left a land, and the father died. So their relatives from the mother's side came and claimed that the land belonged to them, and they asked the man to move out of the land. So with that, the man, he did not even share it to anyone, so he took his life. He killed himself because of that, leaving the wife and kids on the plot in which their relatives were claiming that the place belongs to them. So we have seen such incidents, people coming in reporting cases of suicide on issues like this.
How has your work as a PRO affected your perspective on suicide?
I would say for now, since Blantyre, the cases of suicide has decreased, we can say because of the civic education in which we police and the community members we have had for the past 2 years. I think a lot of people, they are now able to come to police station to report if they are going through any challenges in their life, or if they are going through anything concerning their marriage, concerning their family life, concerning work. So now a lot of people, they know, they come to police and they report each and everything which is going on in their lives. So I would say these cases have decreased for 2024.
So we can confidently say that Blantyre police is not facing challenges or issues of suicide cases.
Yes.
What message would you like to convey to those struggling with suicidal thoughts?
I would say taking one's life, that's not a good idea. A problem shared is halfway solved. So it's either you trust your spouses, you trust your brother-in-law, your sister-in-law, even your siblings. If you have any problem, it's better to share to them. If you feel that those people, they are not very close to you, that you cannot disclose whatever is going on in your head, it's better to come to any police station. You can go to any police station and tell them whatever is going on, and then you can be helped out.
How can we support those who have lost loved ones to suicide, either emotionally?
Okay, people like those we just need to encourage them, because losing a loved one, that's not the end of the world. You learn something from there. If someone commits a suicide, you learn something from there, because learning away from problems is the best way. Is not killing yourself, but then seeing how best you can sort something and bring up the best.
What's your vision for a community that support mental health in connection to suicide? What's your vision for a community that support mental health in relation to suicide?
I would say we'll have a very good country if we say people are not committing suicide. If people are coming in with open views, we'll have a very good country in which we the whole Malawi we will not register suicide cases in each and every district, because people will be open to share their problems to one another.
How can we collaborate with other organizations to address suicide?
Okay, most of the cases we have a lot of organizations which comes up when something happens, as in when a suicide case comes up. So as Malawi Police, we work hand in hand with such organization in civic educating people on how best they can come up with whatever is going on in their head.
Do you think there is a need to improve mental health services to support elimination of suicidal ideation or thoughts? Do you think there is a need to improve mental health services to avoid suicidal thoughts or ideation?
Yes, I would say there is, because those working in hospitals, working wherever they help people with mental problems, these people, they need to exercise patience with these guys, because once you use some wrong words on them, once you use words which is going to hinder someone, those are the things which can prompt that person to commit suicide.
I've been hearing about this myth or misconception that muntu akazimangirira polisi amabwera ndi amayamba kumenya kaye muntu uja asana mutose kwa ujini pale amayamba kumenya kaye. How best can you explain this issue?
Okay, that does not happen. That does not happen. I don't know. Yes, as you have said, those are just misconceptions. We do not do that. Police, we can't be beating someone who's already dead. So I would say that's just a misconception. That does not happen. When something happens, when they come to report at police about any suicide case, we go at the scene, we visit the scene. We don't just go as police, we also we go there with a medical officer who mostly, I would say, when we are going to scene visits, like when someone has committed suicide, we involve in medical officers from DHL, district health officers. We go with them at the scene of crime. We find out, first of all, we take the body to mortuary for post-mortem to see what was the cause of the death. Was it just because he was choked because of whatever he was using to hang himself, or did he take his life by using any object against him? So we use those medical personnel for purposes like those. But as police, we do not beat a dead person.
There's also this issue. Maybe someone was attempting to commit suicide and then it happened, but maybe he survived. So our police mavisa kuti mwamanga muntu uja.
Okay, we have that offense, attempted suicide. Yes, when someone is trying to take his own life, so in the process, police comes in to his rescue. That person is charged with attempt suicide. Why am I saying this? It's because that person maybe he had a wife, he had a family. So when he's trying to take his life, he's running away from his responsibility, in which he has kids. They would like to grow with their father, would like to grow with their mother. So if one of their parents is taking his or her life, that means they are running away from the responsibility of taking care of those children. So it's our responsibility too as police to arrest that person. And we don't just arrest him, we hear from his side. What's the reason why he wanted to take his life? Is it a case of to do with anything to do with family problems, or maybe the wife is or maybe the so he tries to commit suicide? So in a case like that, police have been tipped, and we have gone there. When we take the person back to our office, we charge that person with the offense of attempted suicide, because that person wanted to take his own life, whether it's a man or a woman. So what do I mean when I say that person is running away from responsibility? Because that person might be married or has children, has 2 families, 3 families. So when he takes his life, that means he's running away from the responsibility of being the father to each and every family that he belongs to.
I can say detecting that man or a woman who was attempting to kill herself or himself, don't you think that you are also at the same time implicating lives of the fellow family members? So what's your say on that?
Okay, as police, we have prevented someone from killing himself. At least we have worked. We have prevented someone from killing himself. At least we have worked. Okay, we have charged that person with the offense of attempted suicide. And you're saying, as you have asked me, okay, if a person has been detained because he wanted to commit suicide, we are not impinging the family, because at least we've prevented him from killing himself. So once he serves his sentence, whatever judgment is going to be passed out to him, once he serves that sentence, once that period is over, he's going to come back to his family. At least he will still take up the responsibility which he left. Rather than killing himself, you're leaving the mother, you're leaving the kids with no one to take care of.
So you as police, once you hear about a certain place whereby someone was attempting to kill himself, you usually go there. So what data do police departments collect on suicidal incidents, or what actually do you get from that incident?
Okay, as I already said, Blantyre, we have decreased the cases of suicide cases. We visit scenes like those if someone was trying to commit suicide, and once the person has committed suicide, those information are kept. And when we are doing civic education, when we are doing sensitization to people, we even tell them by giving them examples of the ones who tried to commit suicide and the location in which these people were, or the scene in which those kind of suicide cases were taking place. Yes.
What training do police officers receive on responding to suicidal calls? I was asking, what training do police officers receive on responding to suicidal calls?
Whenever we've been tipped of suicide, whether it's a suicide case which has recently happened or it was just an attempted suicide, we have the teams like rapid responses, in which it's always on the ground. So whenever we have the reports like those, we usually use those kind of people to visit the scene in which any suicide cases has happened. we use those kind of people to rush to the scene and find out whatever happened.
Thank you so much, Madam Mary Chiponda, for sharing your knowledge on suicide cases in Blantyre.
You're welcome.
I hope our listeners will gain some knowledge from our conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on this important conversation. Today we've explored suicide issue with Deputy Public Relations Officer Madam Mary Chiponda, shedding more light of suicide and support within law enforcement. If you or someone you know is struggling, please know that you are not alone. Reach out to local mental health resources. Join us next time as we continue exploring more issues. Subscribe to our podcast and follow us on social media. Remember, every conversation matters.